Let's turn a bingo card into a coin envelope. Hey everybody, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and welcome back to 31 Days of Craftoween. So the other day, Margaret, the amazing Margaret from Seven Plaza, did a video where she made something similar to this. Instead of just a see-through window here, she added like a film strip with see-through parts on it. But in all essentials, this is the same thing. We've taken a bingo card, made a window, and turned it into a coin envelope that can be used to hold ephemera or whatever you fancy. This one is, of course, for my football junk journal, and I thought I would make one for my Halloween journal. Wrap that ribbon again and set this aside. We're going to start with this bingo card. I got this as a free printable from this website, and I don't know if my camera's going to show it very well. It's aspenjay.com. I'll spell it for you. ASPENJAY.com. And she has printable bingo cards that are free for personal use. This is definitely for personal use because I'm just making it for my own Halloween junk journal, even though I'm sharing the process with you guys. So the first thing I want to do with this bingo card is cut a window, and I'm going to use the G column. I could use the middle or the I one, or whatever you want to do. I just like the placement of that. So I'm just using the acrylic block as a guide for my X-Acto knife. And even then I know it's not going to be perfect because I just don't do things perfectly. There's our window, and we're going to ink around the inside of the window and then around the whole card. On my football one, I used frayed burlap, but since this is a Halloween journal, we'll use black soot. The next step is going to be to find the paper that will become the rest of the coin envelope, and it will work best to use double-sided paper. So we'll get this pack back out again, because this is double-sided, and we'll just have to pick one that I like. I think I'd like to have this green be on the inside of the coin envelope. It's just a black kind of tapestry print when you fold it over. So that's going to fold down. Okay, so now we need to do some measuring and marking. I'm trying to line this up as straight as I can with the lines on my mat, which I know isn't great for you guys because the camera's tilted. Let's see if I move that out of the way. I can scoot it up. Okay, so I want to make marks a 1/2 inch on each side. I think when Margaret did hers, she did 1/4 inch, but for some reason, I want to do a 1/2 inch. Okay, we're also going to do a 1/2 inch up from the bottom, and then when we decide how much to cut off the top, we're going to use a 1/2 inch as just like extra space for the coin envelope opening. And then I'm going to go, 2 inches? We'll start with 2, and then we can always take off more. So some of these marks will be scoring lines. Only 2 of them will be cutting lines. I've cut this to the right size, and now we're going to do some scoring. So this line up here that was a 1/2 inch above the bingo card, I'm going to score that one. That will be our fold for the top of the envelope. We need one for the bottom, which was that 1/2 inch at the bottom, and then we'll do the 1/2 inch on each side. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I did the side scoring lines, I only went to where the top of the coin envelope stopped, but I could have kept going, I suppose, because I will cut that part off. It doesn't matter. Okay, because now we're going to do some cutting. So I'm cutting in on the top flap. Actually, I want to kind of angle it like this. There we go. So I'm just lining it up with that scoring line. And what we're doing now is making gussets. So these scoring lines will help us make gussets, which will fold in and create the space for the ephemera to go inside. Margaret explains this much better in her video, so again, I highly recommend watching hers, but I will link it for you here, and you can go watch hers. She is Dutch, and she has a beautiful accent, and I just love watching her videos because she is such a lovely person and has brilliant ideas. Alright, this should be ready now. I did angles on these just so that you won't have straight edges coming up and like possibly causing issues with the corners. We'll just go ahead and do some folding with the bone folder just to make sure that the folds are really well done and pressed down. You might notice that on the black side it's removing some of that color. That doesn't matter because we'll go and ink around it anyway. So these things will get folded in and the bingo card will sit on top of that. Now, have I done it correctly to where it will sit? Yay! Now, here's the only problem. This little black bit here is going to show through the bottom of the bingo card unless, oh yep, I left myself room, I can slide it up. Problem solved. Ta-da-da. We need something for the see-through window. Now you may have noticed in my last video I was looking for something transparent and I couldn't think of what it was. And then I was just falling asleep that night. I went, overhead transparencies. My school has 2 massive boxes of overhead transparencies they've been trying to get rid of because we just don't use them anymore. And I thought, I'm going to take those. They'll be out of the storage room. People will be glad that they're gone. And I can use them for things like windows, etc. Alright, can you see this? It is going to be our window. And I'm going to cut it so that I can glue it on the back of here. So it doesn't need to be an exact size. It just needs to fit over the window and not show. We're going to try Fabri-Tac because it is also clear and the white glue is water-based and we're going to try to avoid any warping if at all possible. And again, if it's a little wonky, it doesn't matter because this will not show. Hey, we have a window! Ta-da! Before we glue this onto this, I need to decide if I want to add anything else as far as stamping or that kind of thing through the window. This actually already looks kind of cool, but I do have some really fun Halloween stamps and it might be nice to add one on here. I have this set that's got like a vampire and a witch and stuff. Before I get stamping, I'm going to do this so that I don't forget. I just want to round the corners at the top of the coin envelope, and then that will give it a nice shape. There. Ooh, actually, you know what I should do first is measure. Once this is slid up where I want it to be, is the flap now too long? Yeah, that's going to cover part of the window. So I need to actually trim. Alright, to decide what stamping we want to do, I'm going to look at the stamps that I found. So I have this set that I mentioned. We've got this ghost, the vampire, and the witch. We also have some mushrooms, toxic, this little splatter that I absolutely adore, and some more. There's another toxic one, poison, skull and crossbones, flowers. You know what? It's Halloween. Let's do something overtly Halloween. Let's do this witch and then the trick or treat. Alright, so we will be able to see the witch, so that way even if the coin envelope is not full of stuff, we can still see something kind of fun through it. And I do love that splattery pattern. I almost wish that I had just left it like that, but nope, nope, nope. We can't change it, so we're just gonna move forward. So I think it's time to put the pieces together. Ta-da! Now, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I forgot about the very first thing that Margaret did in her video, which was to add some more distressing onto the front of the bingo card. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do that or not. I don't know that I want to do it with black soot. I'm going to try something with vintage photo. Ooh, I like that. Just get a little bit here, and maybe some here. Okay, I'm going to keep this on the platform for now because I might decide to add a couple more splatters in a bit. Now I want to do some kind of like little focal point or something right here. Oh, I know what I could do. So I had this old Taste of Home Halloween magazine that I had just kept for ages because who knows why, but now that I'm a junk journal, old magazines are very usable. And this little marshmallow witch is going to become our focal point. And I also have some witch's brooms from one of those little cute jars that I got at Target. Now that I look at it, I'm wondering if she's too big. Okay, making a new plan. I still want to use the witch's broom, and there's a witch inside, so let's see if any of those Sticky Club stickers would work, because a lot of them were quite witchy. I have a couple of sheets of these stickers, and most of them are witchy, so is there one that's like the right size? Actually, I think I want to go with this one. It has 3 witches together, which of course makes me think of Macbeth. I don't know, I just think of it every time 3 witches are together. I really should think about Hocus Pocus when I see 3 witches, because that is one of my favorite movies of all time. But being an English major in college and having Shakespeare as like a ubiquitous part of your life there, I guess Macbeth jumps to my mind first. Before the broomstick gets glued down, I do want to add a couple more splatters on the card. I really like those, and I like that I went with vintage photo instead of the black soot for those. It just makes it look like, oh, some witch spilled her coffee on this. Okay, now for the broomstick, Old Reliable Fabri-Tac should work. Once that glue fully dries, it should be stuck there quite well. If for some reason it doesn't hold, I can come back and hot glue it. Our next step is to work on the closure. So what I did with the last one and what Margaret did with hers is put an eyelet in here. So we're going to pick one, and I have these that are kind of a black color here, but I'm going to be using a brad at the top, and I don't know if I have a brad that's also that color. Yeah, the only brads I seem to have are gold, so we might as well match them up, so we'll do a gold eyelet. I forgot to hit the record button again, so I don't know if you saw, but I inked around with black soot, and then I punched out 4 circles. The orange one's going to be the top one. We're going to glue these together, and that will be the button that we'll use the brad with to put in on the top of the card. use my awl to punch a hole in the middle. We'll also use the awl to punch a hole here. You could be exact and use a ruler. I am just going to eyeball it. Let's see. We'll ink around the edges with black soot. She was an American girl. Last step, we're going to take some string. I have some of this and it's lovely green, which will go great with the inside of the coin envelope. I'm going to measure, let's do like 3 lengths of the coin envelope. That will give us a lot, and then we can always trim off what's left. I'm going to feed these both ends up through the eyelet, then open up the loop here and pull them through. That. And then we're going to slide this underneath the button, wrap, 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 and trim off the excess. Margaret added little beads and things to the end of hers, and I could do that at some point, I guess, but I don't have time today. We have a massive, massive football game in just a few hours. I didn't have to teach school today, which was really nice, but in just a couple hours, my guys are playing in their first playoff game, and I have got to get stuff ready because I have a giant camera bag to take, plus snacks for teenagers, because, you know, the managers and if any player's injured or not playing, they're always like, "Hey, Miss Page, do you have any food? I'm hungry." So I guess I've turned into snack provider as well as photographer. So I've got to get moving on that. So we're going to wrap up this video for now, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think it's been a fun thing to create. I might actually do some mass making of these at some point because they've been so fun to work with. So I guess we'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading, crafting, or journaling. Adios.